What is going on, everybody? I hope you had a fantastic Tuesday and a fantastic Tuesday evening. This is NYG Jeffy T 3285, and I'm here to bring you an NXT Heatwave review for this Tuesday night show that had some awesome matches, some cool endings and finishes, as well as a couple of surprises that maybe you weren't expecting, as Triple H is now starting to put his imprint back in NXT as we go forward. And we had 5 matches to kick off the show, to have the show tonight. We had the first match that was on the card tonight, and that was Giovanni Vinci taking on Carmelo Hayes for the NXT North American Championship. And this match was the type of match that you'd want to throw in there to begin a show, as Giovanni Vinci and Carmelo Hayes put on themselves on a pretty good match overall. This was fun. This was entertaining. Vinci actually looked really good in this match. I thought he delivered some moves that we really didn't see as much when he was known as Fabian Eichner, when he was when he was in the last group he was in before with Gunther as well as Marcel Bartel. So I mean, Imperium was great when he was there with Imperium, but let's just say this new gimmick seems to really be fitting Fabian Eichner, aka now Giovanni Vinci, as he really delivered himself a hell of a performance tonight. He had one of the coolest spots in this match tonight, overall I thought in the whole entire show tonight, and that was that awesome running on top of the ropes, springboard, crossbody dive, onto the outside on both Trick Williams as well as Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes continues to do what he does best, and that's just show out and continue to be one of the best talents, not only in NXT, but in the WWE overall. He put on another fantastic performance, including one of my favorite moves now in the WWE, and that's the fadeaway leg drop that he does when he goes up on top of the top rope, and he's able to do this awesome backwards fadeaway leg drop. It was really cool visual that you got to see. Giovanni Vinci, like I said, he also did another really good move, is when he did a springboard moonsault, similar to what Carlito used to do back in the day, where he would jump from one rope to the cross to the other one and then do a beautifully executed moonsault for a close 2 count towards the middle of the match. And then, of course, Trick Williams still managed to get himself involved in the match somehow, as Trick Williams, in the end, after Giovanni Vinci hit his powerbomb move, and he looked like he was about to go for the pinfall, Trick Williams runs into the ring to try to distract Vinci from the possible pinfall victory. He ends up eating a pinfall, or eating a powerbomb going forward, and then right when Vinci, after he powerbombed Trick Williams and he slides off to the side, and Vinci's looking like he's about to hit his second powerbomb on Carmelo Hayes, Hayes is able to roll him up and be able to get the 1-2-3 victory to retain his NXT North American Championship, obviously due to the distraction that happened because of Trick Williams. So Trick Williams is able to help out Carmelo Hayes win another match over there against his opponent. So Carmelo Hayes, still the NXT North American Championship. And then we cut to an outside promo that happened just a little bit earlier in the day, when we see both Mandy Rose with Toxic Attraction arrive to the ring, and they run into Braun Breaker, and all of them have an exchange of words about their title defenses tonight. And then Mandy Rose and pretty much says, "Are you going to defend? Are you going to keep your championship?" And then Braun Breaker pretty much says the same thing. Are you going to be able to keep your championship? So a little bit of exchange of words between each champion going forward, which is a pretty cool little segment for these guys. So then we have Julius Creed cutting a pre-taped promo about him coming out and announcing about somebody that's been messing a little bit with the Diamond Mine, as Julius Creed last week said that there was a little bit of foul play going on with somebody that's been throwing off the Diamond Mine going forward, and he was going to expose who that person was going into the show tonight. And that's exactly what happened, as Julius Creed, Roderick Strong, Brutus Creed, as well as Damon Kemp made their way to the ring. Julius Creed was cutting a promo about trying to find out who exactly was the person that was causing such a distraction to the Diamond Mine, who was just trying to play foul play and maybe trying to throw off the Diamond Mine and try to throw off the chemistry that's going on with the group. And then right when he was just saying, can the person come out and figure out who this is, Julius Creed then turns to Roderick Strong, saying that he is the one that's causing all the internal problems and that he's probably going to be the one that's going to be the one to cost the Diamond Mine their championships and pretty much dissolve the group going forward. And of course, Roderick Strong was saying he was kidding. He's looking out for the best for Julius and Brutus as well as Damon Kemp. He's always been behind these guys. Diamond Mine forever. And just when it looked like that things might have been cooling over a little bit, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, we have Gallus from NXT UK. And that's Wolfgang, Joe, and Mark Coffey coming in and brutally attacking the Creed brothers as well as Damon Kemp. And then you see the three of them surrounding Roderick Strong, who is right now sitting in the corner right now wondering what the hell is going on. And then all of a sudden they go over there and start beating the hell out of Roderick Strong going forward. So then you see them taking out the Creed brothers, taking out Diamond Mine, and it looks like Gallus were the ones that were planning these whole things the whole entire time. And you see Gallus celebrating in the ringways. They have arrived in NXT. The former NXT UK champions have arrived in NXT, and you see Diamond Mine, the four members of Diamond Mine, beaten up and laid out in the middle of the ring. So Gallus has officially made their way over to NXT, which is also another cool way to add another element and a little bit of a surprise to the show, and you add another tag team to the NXT division going forward. And then you're just cutting then they pretty much did a promo package highlighting the entire feud between Tony D'Angelo and Santos Escobar, which went all the way back to what happened at the NXT show, Great American Bash, when Tony D'Angelo and his team were able to defeat Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma, which pretty much made Legado del Fantasma join Tony D'Angelo's group going forward. So they pretty much highlighted everything that was happening in that group, including when Two Dimes was kicked out of the group ceremoniously, the foul play that was going on, how Tony D'Angelo was pretty much cost 2 championships, including the North American Championship as well as the Tag Team Championship, on a returning Santos Escobar, and they were going to solve the problems tonight, with the stipulation being that if Santos Escobar was able to win his match, that Legado del Fantasma was going to be free from Tony D'Angelo's family going forward. But if Tony D'Angelo was going to be able to win, then Santos Escobar would be gone from WWE NXT alone, as Legado del Fantasma would not be following him. So we had that storyline building up for what we're going to get a little bit later. And then we moved on to the second match, which was going to be the personal feud going on between Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. Now this match, I thought the build was a little bit too fast. I mean, we all know what happened. Cora Jade won the tag team championships with Roxanne Perez, but then just out of nowhere, about a week or two later, Cora Jade ended up attacking Roxanne when she cashed in her first chance match for a world championship after she won the women's breakout tournament. Cora Jade ended up costing Roxanne Perez the match. She smashed her in the back with a skateboard, and obviously what happened is Cora Jade trashed the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, and we know what happened after that. And this pretty much led to their feud starting off, and then Roxanne Perez was talking about how she was betrayed from Cora Jade. She felt betrayed by her. She felt sad, depressed, and everything. But then she obviously knew that she had to go out there and she was going to go get revenge on Cora Jade. And then this match tonight between the two ladies, I thought it was solid. I thought it was a solid match overall. I mean, I think Roxanne Perez overall looked the better off of the two in the match. I like Cora Jade. I think her heel gimmick is very good. I think she's solid, but I think she needs to work a little bit more on her gimmick going forward. But I'm just going to cut to like the end of the match. Cora Jade was pretty much going for the kendo stick that she was going to use to hit Roxanne Perez with it. Roxanne Perez ended up kicking Cora Jade in the gut, and then she was able to pick up the kendo stick, and it looks like she was going to try to hit Cora Jade without any but she was going to try to pretty much hit Cora Jade. I know she could have been distracted, but then she ended up dropping the kendo stick, thinking better, trying to win the match overall, And then what ended up happening is Cora Jade hit a DDT on the kendo stick, on Roxanne Perez on the kendo stick, and she ended up picking up the victory as Cora Jade was able to defeat Roxanne Perez in that match. Solid match overall. Obviously, this feud is not over, but Cora Jade gets the victory in this first match, and this feud is definitely going to be continuing going forward. And then we had a backstage segment with Brooks Jensen, Josh Briggs, and Fallon Henny cutting a promo, and then with talking about how Lash Legend and Pretty Deadly attacked them last week, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, Gallus comes in and pretty much says that they want to get those NXT UK championships back where it belongs on NXT UK, and then they issued a challenge to Briggs as well as Jensen on a future tag team match, and it was officially booked tonight. It was officially booked for next week, as we're going to be having Gallus, Joe and Matt Coffey. They're going to be pretty much taking on Brooks and Jensen in an NXT UK championship going on NXT next week. Then we had the match that I was looking forward to by far the most, and that's Santos Escobar versus Tony D'Angelo, all or nothing match, street fight, to see if Santos Escobar's career would be continuing in NXT and his group would be free, or he'd be officially out of there when it came to the end. And man, this match was as hard-hitting, physical, all over the place as we can say. There were chairs being used all over the place. The match started with Santos Escobar throwing a chair at Tony D'Angelo, pretty much at his arm towards the beginning. And then pretty much throughout most of this match, you saw Tony D'Angelo using the chair, working on Santos Escobar a lot. You saw him wrapping the chair around his arm, putting it against smashing against the ring post. You saw him doing a pretty cool spot. What I thought is when he laid out the chairs on the outside and did a vertical suplex on Santos Escobar right on the outside during that. It was a pretty cool spot. I loved the way it happened. So I think it was pretty cool how that went into it. And I thought this match overall was physical. I thought it was fun. I thought it was awesome overall. And then one of the cool spots is when out of nowhere you see Joaquin Wilde just take a friggin' golf club and just smash Stacks right in the face with a golf club, laying him out. And then one of the elements that were happening in this match towards the end is when you saw Elektra Lopez trying to make her presence known in the match. And then she actually ended up taking a shoulder block from Tony D'Angelo. And then what ended up happening is when Santos Escobar was getting pissed off, he ended up getting kneed in the gut. And then they went into the ring. There was Tony D'Angelo's crowbar as well as Santos Escobar's brass knuckles that were added to the ring because of Legado del Fantasma as well as the family. So you saw each of them eyeing the brass knuckles. Santos eyeing the brass knuckles, D'Angelo eyeing the crowbar, and then all of a sudden both of them run to grab their weapons. Tony D'Angelo hits a direct hit right to Santos Escobar's head, knocks him down, covers him 1, 2, 3, and by a shock victory, Tony D'Angelo ends up picking up the victory on Santos Escobar. So Tony D'Angelo wins the match, and Santos Escobar is no longer in NXT. But his Legado del Fantasma people, they're still stuck in NXT. So Santos Escobar, it looks like he's going to be ready to be promoted to the main roster. I guess we'll have to see how the rest of Legado del Fantasma is going to look on NXT still, unless they're going to go up with him. But right now, as we speak, Tony D'Angelo defeats Santos Escobar. And right now, they're still part technically of the family, and Santos Escobar is no longer in NXT going forward. Then we had a cool little backstage segment with Indy Hartwell cutting a promo with Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, pretty much celebrating on the fact that Kaden Carter and Katana Chance finally became NXT Women's Champions. So they're having a little bit of a moment there. And then all of a sudden, after the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions left, we have Indy Hartwell getting a letter from a backstage producer, and it looked like a letter from Dexter Lumis. As we all know, Dexter Lumis is back on WWE television, so the return of Index going forward. But then out of nowhere, Blair Davenport from NXT UK makes her presence known on the show, and she pretty much cuts a promo on Indy Hartwell, and she's pretty much saying that she rips up the letter that Indy Hartwell got, and she's pretty much claiming that she's going after the NXT women's championship overall. So Mandy Rose has another, or Zoe Stark has another target on their back, as right now Blair Davenport has made her way over from NXT UK, and she is targeting the NXT Women's Championship going forward. So that was a cool another segment added, and now you have another woman added to that NXT Women's Championship field going forward. So I love that overall. Then we got ourselves the NXT Women's Championship match between Mandy Rose and a returning Zoe Stark. And I thought this match actually lived up to a better result than I actually thought it could be at the end. I thought this could have been the worst match on the card going into it, but I was actually surprised on how good the match was pretty much. Mandy Rose looked pretty fluid in some of her matches. She was working over Zoe Stark's injured left knee a lot, so I mean that was a pretty cool spot. A lot of beginning of the match, she smashed her leg on the announcer's table. That's Zoe Stark's leg, right on the announcer's table, so that was pretty cool. Pretty much working over that leg a lot. Zoe Stark was able to mount a little bit of a comeback during the match. During the middle of the match, Toxic Attraction ended up getting kicked out of the ringside area. They tried to make their presence known and tried to help Mandy Rose win the match. So there was a little bit of an added element to that. So Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane were kicked out of ringside. So then the match pretty much kept going from there, as Zoe Stark pretty much ended up making her comeback known, and obviously Nikita Lyons, who is going to be part of the Women's Tag Team Championship tournament going forward with Zoe Stark going forward. She made her presence known and was taking out Toxic Attraction as we go forward. One of the coolest spots, Mandy Rose was applying a single lock crab on Zoe Stark's injured knee a lot. She was smashing the knee a lot in the ring, pretty much trying to weaken that knee going forward. Rose was actually ended up getting a little bit more of a knee lock going forward, so that was pretty cool. Pretty much working the knee a lot more. And then one of the coolest spots I thought towards the end of the match, after Zoe Stark was able to hit her finisher, and it looked like she was going to win the match, she struggled to go over for the pin, but she only got a 2 count there. And then Mandy Rose was able to get up, recovering a little bit after that happened, and she was able to hit her running knee for only a 2 count, which even surprised everybody. Mandy Rose was able to get only a 2 count on her knee high lift towards the end of the match. But then Mandy Rose, using one of the smartest things, because the brace ended up being one of the key things in this match, the knee brace of Zoe Stark's. She ended up unhooking Zoe Stark's knee brace. She applied it to her right knee, and then she ended up using the knee brace as part of her finishing move with the big high knee to Zoe Stark's face, and she ended up getting the pinfall victory on Zoe Stark. 1, 2, 3. Mandy Rose retains the NXT Women's Championship, as she is now going to be an over 300-day reign for Mandy Rose, as Toxic Attraction still reigns supreme in terms of the NXT Women's Division, and Zoe Stark, maybe her and Nikita Lyons, are about to get themselves a promotion to the WWE main roster, since now they're going to be concentrating on the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, as they're going to have a match on SmackDown this coming Friday against Natalya pretty much, and her tag team partner going forward. So we're going to have to see how that's going to go. But Mandy Rose was able to retain the NXT Women's Championship going forward. Then we had Grayson Waller cutting a promo backstage with Mackenzie Mitchell, pretty much talking about Apollo Crews and how he's just like saying that he shouldn't be over, like he should be watching his back and everything. And then Grayson Waller pretty much announced that he's going to be having his own version of a talk show next week on NXT called The Grayson Waller Effect, with his first official guest on the show, Apollo Crews. Then we had a backstage segment pretty much on Quincy Elliott, who's going to be the next NXT. He's pretty much going to be the next person saying he's going to be coming over to NXT, and he's going to be making his NXT presence known on the show, and he's officially going to be known as the Super Diva, and he's going to be making his presence known on NXT going forward. So be on the lookout for Quincy Elliott on NXT television going forward. And then also we had a little video package of Tiffany Stratton as well as Wendy Chu, as they're going to be having themselves a lights out match on NXT next week. So on NXT next week, we're going to have the Coffee Brothers versus Brooks and Jensen for the NXT Tag Team UK Championships. Next week on NXT, you're going to have the Grayson Waller Effect, first show ever, debuting on NXT next week with his first official guest being Apollo Crews. And you're going to have a lights out match between Wendy Chu and Tiffany Stratton, all happening next week on NXT. So now we're going to have now we have the championship match, the NXT championship match between JDMcDonugh and Braun Breaker. And this was a hard-hitting match. This was physical. JDMcDonugh coming out pretty much looking like a crazed lunatic in this match, which was a very cool visual effect. Braun Breaker looking as dominant as ever. This match was hard-hitting, belly-to-belly suplexes. Braun Breaker hit himself a very beautiful moonsault off the side. JDMcDonugh putting on a lot of submissions, trying to weaken Braun Breaker's knee during the matchup. Braun Breaker delivering a hell of a clothesline, which pretty much made JDMcDonugh do a 360 over in the match. That was a pretty cool effect. One of the coolest moments of this match was JDMcDonugh doing a Spanish fly off the top rope with Braun Breaker, and then immediately after that hitting a beautiful brainbuster to only get a 2 count, as well as another part that happened a little bit earlier in the match with Braun Breaker hitting a beautifully executed Frankensteiner, but only getting a 2 count on that match. And then as we get towards the end of the match, Braun Breaker ended up hitting a vicious spear on JDMcDonugh, pretty much getting up, setting up, ready, riling himself up on the ropes. And all of a sudden you see JDMcDonugh like a satanic lunatic, spreading his arms out like he's Jesus, sitting there pretty much telling Braun Breaker to hit him again, blood coming out of his mouth. Awesome visual effect. Braun Breaker hits a vicious spear on him, puts the straps down, lifts him up, big time spear-like power slam. 1, 2, 3. Braun Breaker ends up retaining the NXT World Championship against JDMcDonugh in a hard-hitting, physical, fun NXT Championship match. But then here's the biggest surprise. Out of nowhere, before the end of the show, you have NXT UK Champion Tyler Bate making his way in the ring to a massive ovation from the NXT crowd. Tyler Bate makes his way to the ring, and we have a standoff to end the show tonight with NXT UK Champion Tyler Bate and NXT World Champion Braun Breaker face to face, possibly indicating a future match between both NXT World Champions on a future show. And then NXT Heatwave ended up going to dark right after that. Awesome visual effect. Loved the match tonight. I thought it was very fun and a great way to end the show. Triple H putting his imprints all over the show with some of the outcomes that happened. I thought the outcome with Mandy Rose defeating Zoe Stark was a little bit of a surprise. I thought the outcome with Tony D'Angelo defeating Santos Escobar was a little bit surprised. I didn't expect that to happen. That was awesome. As well as a couple of surprises that we did not expect from NXT. A couple of stars making their way from NXT UK, including Gallus, the Coffee Brothers, and Wolfgang. Blair Davenport and Tyler Bate making their way from NXT UK, invading NXT on this show tonight on NXT Heatwave, prompting what is going to be the next era of what's going to be happening on NXT 2.0. But overall, I thought this was a really fun show. I'd probably rate it about a 3.5 out of 5 tonight, maybe closer to a 3.75. I thought the in-ring work was solid overall. I love the additions of some of the NXT UK stars coming over and invading NXT tonight. I thought the visual effect of Tyler Bate making his presence known and him going face-to-face with Braun Breaker was awesome. I thought the match between Tony D'Angelo and Santos Escobar was so much fun. I thought the women's title match was a lot better than I thought it would be. I thought the NXT North American title match between Giovanni, Vinci, and Carmelo was really good. I thought Vinci looks really strong in that match. I thought NXT Heatwave overall was a very good show. But now we have to see what's going to be happening going on as NXT 2.0 goes into a little bit of a new era. As Triple H has put his handprints all over this show tonight. We have to wonder what's going to be happening as we go into next week and beyond on NXT 2.0. But overall, fun show overall tonight for NXT Heatwave. So I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Let me know in the comments section what you thought about the show tonight overall, NXT Heatwave, and what you think about this video overall. So if you like this video, please hit the like button below if you enjoy what you hear in this video tonight. Subscribe if you haven't already to NYG Jeffy T 3285 for more breaking news updates, chatter, as well as show reviews surrounding the WWE tonight, as well as other content involving the New York Giants, Brooklyn Nets, New York Mets, as well as some food for thought. Turn on the bell for notifications on the next video or short that's going to drop on the channel. And like I mentioned before, let me know your comments and what you thought about the NXT Heatwave show overall, what your surprises were, what you were a little bit disappointed in, what you think the direction is going to be going forward with the show, and what was your favorite match and what's your least favorite match on the NXT Heatwave show tonight. So I thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your entire Tuesday as well as your Tuesday night tonight. Take it easy, everybody, and let's see what WWE has cooking for us on Friday Night SmackDown in a couple of nights. And overall, let's see what happened going forward with the WWE. But NXT Heatwave, I thought, was an overall fun show. Loved it tonight. Loved some of the surprises. The matches, for the most part, delivered. So overall, let's see what NXT 2.0 has to deliver for us. But NXT Heatwave, I give it a thumbs up going forward. Great show tonight. Let's see what WWE is going forward.